Hello, welcome to Paradive Podcast episode 9. I just drank a big glass of water and drank a Red Bull as well, sugar free. So let's get into this. I've got Iron Man today because you got to be an Iron Man in this life. So live life at your own pace, be the pacemaker. I think we have a tendency as people to mirror other people's behavior. So if they're going at a certain pace or talking at a certain speed, it's like you kind of have a tendency to match them without even thinking about it consciously. But I'm saying at some point you might get a bit fed up of this because you notice you're making little progress in life because you're just following everyone else's script. So at some point you should just start speaking at your own pace, thinking at your own pace, and just kind of controlling the pace of the conversation, of the action. If you don't want to stand around with your friends while they talk, just cut them off. Cut them off and be like, hey, let's go here. Now, let's go. And if you don't want to come, I'll just go by myself. Just set the pace. You know? And then that'll prove that the power is instantly. Because if they follow you, then it's like they would have followed you the whole time. In the end. So, yeah, live at your own pace. Talk at your own pace. It's kind of a necessary stage at some point. Life is for the unserious. So you have to be unserious in this life. The unserious. So essentially, someone tweeted this a while back, but he said, the unserious shall inherit the earth. And I quite like the idea. Maybe life isn't meant to be taken seriously. You just kind of have to because have you not noticed, it's the people that are having the most fun that end up being the most successful. The people who kind of seem like it's the most effortless and they're just fucking around the most, they always end up getting to the top. It's because, it wasn't actually effortless, but they crafted their persona in a way where it always looks effortless and they're having the most fun. Because people just want to have fun. Girls just want to have fun. People want the unserious around. That's why, the best people who, rose up in music are also funny. All the best, musicians are also comedians in a way. Because people want funny. People want unserious. People don't want to take reality too seriously. So, a focus on, the unseriousness of life is a really key component to success. I think it's a fundamental need to be funny. I think Jimmy Carr talks about this as well in his recent podcasts. They're great. Go check them out. They're amazing. But yeah, the unserious. There's just something about it, not taking life too seriously. Because once you do that, you can kind of do whatever. You're free once you don't take life seriously. You kind of treat everything as a joke. Life, the biggest troll. At the end of NERD, maybe Pharrell is just life is but a joke, and the laughs on you. Maybe it is just not serious. Maybe it is a joke for real. We're meant to fly too close to the sun. So the story of Icarus is essentially he had wings made of wax and he flew too close to the sun and they melted and then he died. So it's a parable to when you're successful, don't go too far because you might lose it all, essentially. But maybe it's just a parable. Maybe it's a trick is what I'm saying. Maybe the wings aren't made of wax. The guy just told you they were made of wax, and now you're too scared to try because you know the story of Icarus. It's because you've heard the story, you think, oh, I won't fly close to the sun, but what if you're meant to? What if it's a trick? What if it's you fly close to the sun, and it's a hologram, and then you fly straight through it like a waterfall, and you end up in a cave, and then you have a whole new adventure? What if you are supposed to go too far? I remember there's that quote, it's always go too far. That's where you'll find the truth. Maybe you are meant to, even if you do burn, even if they are made of wax, maybe you're meant to fall. Maybe the fall's, supposed to happen. And this leads me on to my next point. Canon events to advance the plot. The idea that Spider-Man into the across the Spider-Verse put into, the collective consciousness is this idea of canon events. Uncle Ben's supposed to die. Uncle Ben dies in every iteration of Spider-Man. Every version has their own Uncle Ben, and he has to die so you can become the real proper Spider-Man. And it's this parable basically saying your trauma has to happen so you can become the true version of you. And It's a nice idea. It's a nice comforting idea that like everything bad that happened to you kind of had to happen to make you who you are. And in a way, it's true. Like, I don't think it's a comforting idea. I think it's like an actual necessary thing that's part of reality. Like, these things have to happen. Like, maybe these things really have to happen to make you who you are. Like, some things are unavoidable. Maybe the fall is inevitable. Like, you have to. Maybe it's like an actual cutscene in a story. Like, once you've activated the cutscene, you don't have control. You just have to let the cutscene play out, and then you can play the game later on. Because life is full of moments like that, where it's like you feel like you weren't in control, but like, no, but I must have been in control, but maybe you really weren't. Maybe it's all a movie. This leads me on to my next point. God's movie, play your part. Pharrell Williams says this a lot. Play your part. This is God's movie, and you're going to get called on stage, so don't miss your moment. And it's such a nice idea, because it's like, it kind of assumes you are not in control of all this. It's like a pre-written script, like it's a play. It's like literally a play, and like you come on stage at 45 minutes and you do a 3-minute scene and then you come off. It's like you have to play your part. It like allows you to establish or contextualize yourself in this like world where like you're here, but you won't always be here. So it's a cool idea because it helps you like narrativize yourself in this world to the point where, oh yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that. But maybe you can't. Maybe you have a specific thing you're supposed to do on stage at the right moment, at the right time. Like maybe God is saving you. Maybe you're being saved for a specific scene, and that's why nothing's happening, because the scene hasn't rolled around yet. So maybe you have to wait for your scene. Like if you feel like there's no progress happening in your life, nothing happens and everything happens. Like entropy happens and then like healing happens. You might be in the slow stage right now. Like maybe you have to wait till you're 18 for some cool things to happen. Maybe you have to wait till you're 26. Maybe you have to wait till you're 31. Like maybe there is a moment in time where your scene arrives and you don't know yet. So yeah, play your part. Be ready to play the character that you're kind of best at, instead of trying to forge your own character. Like, because like you're not a writer on this, you're an actor. So maybe play the part that was written for you. Like you'll be in so many different circumstances in this life. Like you won't be born as the person you want to be born as. Like maybe you're like, you grew up around rich people. Maybe you grew up in like America, but like you're like from India. You're like an Indian dude. You're kind of short. You're like 5'4", and you feel kind of annoyed. You don't have chest hair, and you're like, oh, why can't I be like a 6'5" white guy with money and status? And like maybe like you don't you know what I mean, like you're comparing yourself to this standard because you grew up in like this Western image, like, oh, but all the movie stars, Ryan Gosling's a white dude, speaks perfect English, I speak broken English, and I'm like Indian dude who's 5'4", like, oh no, girls won't like me. But like maybe that's your character. Like maybe you're supposed to be that guy. You were supposed to be born in the consciousness of that body so you can play a certain part. Like you exist as that guy so you can experience those psychological circumstances, so you can turn yourself into someone that only that guy can become. Because like a tall, rich, happy white dude has no incentive to become a doctor or engineer. Life's already easy. You know what I mean? So it's like you were put into that circumstance so you'd have the drive to become a doctor or engineer, so you would make more money than anyone. Like it is like energy exchange. It's equivalent exchange. It's like you were born like that to make you into the juggernaut that you are today, because it refined your mindset. So yeah, you can start to think of everything as energy transfer in that way, because it is kind of true. Like you want to improve your life, but maybe you're comparing yourself to others, but you don't always have to. Okay, last one. Really segueing well here. Breathing is super important. So I've been reading a lot about nasal breathing, slow breathing, like diaphragm breathing. Like controlling your breathing is extremely important. Control of the breath. Breathe on a song is a really good quote I like. It's from Puppet by Tyler, the Creator. Kanye says it. But like, I've applied it to my life. Like, breathe on a song. Like, do breath work while listening to music. I found it like a great way to find time to do it. Like, breathe while listening to music. Do deep breathing. Breathe into your balls, as Elliot Hulse says. Like, do diaphragm breathing. It works. Like, it will calm your mood. It'll make you relax a bit. Yeah, so I think people need to breathe more. So yeah, live life at your own pace. Be the unserious. Maybe you're meant to fly too close to the sun, to fly through the waterfall and find a cave behind it. Canon events exist to advance the plot. This is God's movie. Play your part. And remember to breathe. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Good night. Love.